I'm Andrew Rudd. I am a filmmaker who showed a film called Safety Net at Salute Your Shorts about 3 years ago. And I'm happy to be back because I got the opportunity to talk to this filmmaker, Logan Jackson, and his lead actress, Avery J. Did I get your names right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Edit number one. I was delighted when I watched this film that they made together. I just had all these different emotions. Now I'm going to talk to you two. Specifically, like when I started the film, I thought it was on one kind of journey. I was with your character, Avery. And it felt like this was a great first act because we had this sense of the weight of the story with these beautiful children who are coloring, but we have the gravity of what it's like to be a parent who's trying to like make these things work with. And then we like all of a sudden we're in a different kind of film. It's a film that like evoked this like really magical sense of what it is like to be a child and to have a brother. I have two. And to just like use mattresses and noodles to like build like heaven. I mean, it was like heaven. And yet there's reasons why we're sort of nervous. And I think everybody who's like watching our Q&A has already seen the film, so I'm not going to spoil anything. And our hearts are still with your character, Avery, because you're the one who brought us into the story. And so when we come back to you, we already know, I mean, like the way that you just built this suspense, these layers of feeling and drama and this point of view that really like invites us to, it was just a wonderful experience, a viewing experience. It was really, and it's beautifully shot, beautifully acted. I have so many things about it that I really liked and connected with. So I'd just love to hear about your artistic process. Can I just invite you to sort of talk about where did this story come from for you?
Yeah.
And how did you build it together?
Nice. Yeah. For me, the story came from well, a lot of inspiration came from my sister, who's a single mother, and she has two young boys. One is 8 and 4 at the time of the story. But so she makes decisions that aren't quite deemed as ideal to, you know, leave the boys at home from time to time, and you have to do what you have to do as a single mother. So she's playing mommy and daddy. So I wanted to showcase that and highlight that, just to show that side of parenthood that's not often seen. And, you know, like people can judge, but ultimately, if the shoes was on your foot, what would you do? You know, so I wanted to kind of put them in that mind frame and jump right into the action where she has to make that quick decision. And also, the film deals with epilepsy. So I had a friend where it says for Brandon at the end of the title. Right. That is for my friend who passed from epilepsy in a similar situation. So I kind of wanted to combine those two situations and just be an eye opener to everybody that's seen it, because this film could also be used as a teaching mechanism to hopefully, you know, save lives. That's the correct procedure as you've seen in the film. So that was a inspiration for me, just personal experiences that I've been through. And, you know, so, but it was amazing to find somebody. Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to do the story justice because my sister is a hard cast and she has to be strict and very disciplined and whatnot. And, you know, you got to play mommy and daddy. So when I seen Avery Jade's off audition tape, I knew right away that like the story was magic. Like I had it right then and there. Like, she was it. So that was my experience from
that too, from the moment from reading the script. So you had the visuals paired with the black and white text. When I just had the black and white text in my hand, I was blown away. Like how I went on those emotional roller coasters too, just from the very first time I read the script. I was like, hold on, wait, what's about to happen? You know, and so to have those visuals paired, I think it was executed quite well. And it's a journey from start to finish.
It is a journey. And like even visually, like the moment where you're like descending, Avery, you're descending the stairs into your particular wing of the journey, which we're not going to get to see, but it's going to be like in the back creating tension for us. And then when I mean, like the way that you shot it and everything, the way that you kind of ascend back into the third act, it's just like we are dying with you. But like the emotion, the raw emotion that you brought like through everything was.
Yeah, I think for me to create the film, like it was a big, like I knew that we had to capture the innocence of the boys. We had to give it a raw feel, a real gritty, authentic feel. So me and my DP, Will Turner, who's an amazing DP, Emmy Award winning actually. He's great. So we went into this project with the frame of mind like we don't really want to script too many things when it comes to the boys. We want to kind of just follow them documentary style. You know, just capture their beautiful innocent moments, and then that'll shine through on the screen because those are authentic things that you can't really fake. So we was really just following a lot of people. Like Avery's running, we're following her, and Avery's at the bus stop scene and she's improvising and she's doing all type of things. So our job, me and my DP, to capture that moment was just to be present in it, to just follow whatever move they made, and we was just recording. They did an amazing job. Like all the credit really goes to the actors and actresses in this. We just captured it somehow.
Well, I do think it takes like an enormous amount of courage for a filmmaker to trust their performers like that.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's a testimony to what film is, I think, best at doing, and that is like bearing witness to real human experience. So that
exactly,
like, you're willing to trust your performers, and you find performers that you know you can trust, and then just let them have the space to be. I mean, that is very much how I felt during this film.
I think it's all, like you said, like credit to you, like it's all trust. So I mean, me and Avery, our connection as soon as we met was really instant. We had a beautiful connection and a beautiful bond, and she understood the story, and she's a single mother as well, so she right away got it, and our connection was very strong. So we already had like that trust coming in. That further gave me notice that this film was going to be great, and it was right because it was really like a perfect fit. So I did lean on her a lot of times, and I said, listen, this film is only going to work with you.
That's right.
You're the beginning, you're the end. So if it doesn't, if you don't hit on everything, it fails.
What's true. Oh, excuse the truck that's riding by right now too. But that pressure was very thick and very true. And there was this moment on set. It was our first day shooting, and you know, you look to your director just to have, you know, some assurance that what you're giving and presenting is, you know, is headed in the right direction. And I had to learn very quickly with Logan, it's like kind of the opposite. I'll talk to you if need be. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that trust factor, that blanket was literally like, go for it, you know, and if I need to will you back in, I'll will you back in. And so that environment for me was one that was a little nerve-wracking, because as an actor, you get inside your own head and you start, you know, going far left with your ideas and thoughts, which are unnecessary. But when I was able to release that, and I had someone pull me aside and was like, you're fine. Like, if he's allowing, go for it. And I was like, all right, duly noted. And when I did go too left, he told me I went too left. He had no problem telling me, hey, listen, stay right here, stay in this moment. And I was like, okay. And then, like he mentioned earlier, we got some shots just by being present, So it was beautiful.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're familiar with the Iranian filmmaker Kiarostami, but he talks about this process, how it really does introduce a difficulty for the actors because they get trained in like a studio system of making stuff that, you know, give the exact facial expression at the exact time, but that this other thing leads to kind of this beauty and this truth, but it is struggle too. I mean, one of the things. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you.
That was it.
Okay. I was going to say to you, one of the things that I felt like happened, especially in the first act, is like you're just asking people over and over again to do the same thing. You know, will you watch my kids? Will you watch my kids? But every time you asked, like you projected like a whole world of relationship with really different kinds of people, which evoked in me like my relationships with, oh, I know that person, and I have to ask this favor. This is going to cost me for a year. Uh, but I also felt like that's such a wonderful way of like explaining what it's like to be a single parent, and to have to feel like everything that you do costs you something, is like it requires Herculean strength. So like, thank you both of you for portraying those realities.
I'm glad you caught on to that and you was able to differentiate the different colors. That was something that Avery done amazing with. Like she was great with that and differentiating the different colors and letting us know who's on the other line by her vocal tones, because that was very important. That was very important to decipher through that. So it was very important, and she hit every single mark that we gave her, and she knocked it out literally like 1 or 2 takes. It was done with, and she did. But that same beginning, the first act is usually, well, it was the audition. I gave her that was the audition piece. So she knocked that out during the audition, and I knew that okay, it's money, we good, you know. So I'll let her talk about that.
Yeah, I broke it down that way during the audition in the sense of, because when you, again, back to looking at the script the first time, right? Upon first glance, it's like, you can kind of pick up desperation, I guess, in a sense, you know, this woman making these calls, but there's also this redundancy, you could take it, right? And you're thinking that she's just making this repetitive call. And it's like, as a single mom, I was able to really pull from my own experience to go, no, there's some of those phone numbers you don't want to pull out the bag, you know, but depending on the situation, you're willing to endure whatever that's gonna, you know, entail. And I think that's what Brittany had to face, was that she had to make some calls that, like, if it weren't for this job interview, and if it weren't for not meeting ends meet, and if it weren't for my livelihood being on the line, I wouldn't make these calls. I would go ahead and endure as a single mom, as I'm used to. But this particular day, this particular event, and this particular moment, I need, and that's where that desperation came. I need this babysitter. And I really, and then you even see the desperation when she chose to leave without the babysitter, because it was like, I need this money, you know. And that was the need I applied to. That was, it was a decision. I think as single parents, you sometimes are faced with these decisions that are for the betterment of your children, but they look, you know, just a radical, you know, to the outside looking in, but it's what I have to do, you know, to get by and to have that next step. What unfolds later on in the film, obviously, is like, you know, the worst nightmare. And it can be back there a little bit, but you just hope that that's never the case. So that was a brilliant, it was written brilliantly. And then I think it was just brilliant choices to make on those two.
So it's my job, and this is a weird job, to try to be all the voices at a film festival screening, not just ask the questions that I would want to ask. So I've been like combing through my head and thinking, like, what are the questions that I know other people in the audience would ask? And I know they would ask this. Where did you find those two boys? I think they're brothers from the credits.
Yeah.
Their performances were wonderful, so unaffected. And
yeah, Cash and KJ, I found them through just the LA casting, and they were both brothers. I mean, obviously they're brothers, so like I thought, well, I knew that chemistry and those nerves and the comfortability that they already had as being brothers, it would shine through. And so it's pretty interesting. What I had them do was come to my apartment, because we shot the whole thing in my apartment, come to my apartment pretty much every weekend. And I said, this is your guys' fun zone. You can jump around, you can pull out the mattress, you can wrestle, you can have fun. I had a bunch of fun stations set up for them, as far as like construction paper and coloring pencils and markers, bubbles. So they're just like having a time of their lives every time they come here, instead of we doing like a traditional table read. That way they were able to really get comfortable here. So by the time we got the set, they're just brilliant. They're just in the moment. They're just having fun because they're already comfortable. So those boys were so well mannered, also so respectful. Yes, sir, no, sir, like every single time. They're amazing. They're great. I love those kids. I miss them actually.
So I know that somebody in the audience would ask, tell us about the shooting process. How long did it take to shoot?
Yeah, it took 2 days of shooting.
It's great.
We actually, yeah, we were running through pretty quickly. We were running through very quickly because, like I said, Avery was very prepared and she knew this role and embodied the character. So we was able to get through the takes within 1 or 2, 3 takes, no longer than 4 takes. Every single shot that you've seen. So, and the boys, like I said, they were already comfortable here. I believe like separation lies within the preparation is something I like to say. So we were preparing for a while, for a couple months to be quick on set. So it was only 2 days of shooting. And we also had to do like a pickup shot on the 3rd day because we couldn't get it on the 2nd day due to law enforcement. But the hazards of indie filmmaking, but yeah, I'd say 2 days total.
That's great. So I had a totally different question and now it just disappeared from my head. I had made notes before, but I was like, I don't need notes. I know exactly.
I don't need those.
Well, I'm gonna have to come back to that question and ask you about what it is that you both are doing next as artists. Are you working on new projects? Is quarantine shut you down, or what should we expect to see from you in the future?
Well, I'll go first. I think with the success of My Hero, I mean, we wrapped in February, so we're still very early on our festival run.
Good.
So the primary focus is on My Hero and just attending all the great festivals and whatnot and being present for the Q&As, the events. But as far as like writing, I'm always writing different things. There's offers on the table for a series and maybe I'll do another short film. I'm not sure, but you can expect something next year for sure. Like next year, I want to go back into shooting. This year is kind of a tricky situation with the whole COVID thing. I wouldn't want to risk too much. But after this My Hero Festival run, we'll see where it takes me. But I got a couple offers as far as writing.
And I'll be in everything that has his name on it.
Well, pretty much.
So anything he's doing, that's what I'm doing
So just copy and paste that to Avery.
Yeah, so we I mean, I think every actor right now is just like you know, in this place of standstill. Things are opening up. Obviously, we're doing remote auditioning, so still been doing self-taping and things of that sort. I would love to, you know, get into the feature zone and see where my weight can hold in a feature film. So when Logan Jackson does the feature, I'll be in that. So, yeah, that's it. It's a real weird space right now, 2020 quarantine, COVID-19. But we are, I think, right now also in a great place to just have the focus be on My Hero and, you know, bring all our energy still to promote it and still to give it life. So I'm very happy that we have that ability to still have life there.
Nice. Me too. I'm glad that you're at the beginning of your festival circuit. I hope that you get to go to a lot of places. Well, I hope that you can at least have your film in a lot of places. And seen by a lot of people, because I do think that like you have some really, not just important things to say, but like it's a beautiful exercise in empathy. You know, like it invites us into, you know, a world that's a little different than ours, or maybe a lot different than ours, but like the humanity of it is profound and so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
The other thing that I did want to ask about was the epilepsy element in the film. So have you had a lot of feedback? I don't know how much feedback you're getting right now because it's a little bit different kind of festival circuit than we usually have.
Yeah.
But have you heard from folks who have epilepsy in their life or people who they love with epilepsy?
Yeah. Actually, I've had the response to it has been incredible. incredible. There's people that even this one girl says she went through the exact same situation and where she saved her friend's life that was very similar to the film. So just seeing that film kind of brought back all those memories, and she was just tearing up. It's been a very emotional response to a lot of people that has dealt with it personally, and people that haven't dealt with it personally, they still seem to have an emotional effect. But as far as people that are dealing with it directly, I've had, aside from her, there was just a guy that I was talking to yesterday who just randomly emailed me, found the email and randomly emailed me and said the film that touched him so much because his father actually has epilepsy, and he showed it to his father, and that sprung up a whole different conversation because he wasn't really familiar with it too much. But then when his father watched it, they had a whole new talking point. So it kind of brought levels to their relationship and brought them closer to a bondage, you know? So like hearing stuff like that is validation that I done something right. You know, we done something right, myself and Avery. So that's better than any type of other response or award that I could ever garner.
Nice. Do either of you have anything else you'd like to say to your fans or to anybody else about the film, about your work, about them?
I'm Avery's biggest fan, so I don't have anything to say.
This is the Hollywood director, Logan Jackson.
Don't embarrass me, like, don't do that.
Shout that out wherever we go, and like in public places.
So embarrassing.
This is like, all right, now we're getting to the nitty gritty. But
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Of our relationship that just carried over after filming, Logan and I truly built this friendship that was, you know, just a bonus part of being a part of this production. But he and I, one time went to this grocery store, and I was out loud. I asked the cashier, I go, do you know him? She goes,
oh my
no.
God.
You don't want to get his autograph?
Oh my God.
I was like, you should get his autograph. She was like, you know, and I know at that point in time, if her job allowed, she would have pulled out her phone to try to, you know, start. So I was like,
the poor cashier was confused. She had no idea what was going on. She was so confused.
Director, you don't. She was like, I'm so. So I love putting him on the spot like that. So yes, I hope they pick up that clip and add that to the.
Oh my goodness, so embarrassing.
Hollywood director Logan Jackson.
Wow. But I mean, she that's her personality, but like that's what allows her to be a great actress. So when you see that bus stop scene, none of that is scripted. She's just improvising and asking people for change. So like that's kind of her personality. Unfortunately, as you see, you can't turn it off. That's the bad part about it. So but no, I'm extremely thankful for it, and thankful for everybody that is checking out My Hero and watching it and being a part of Salute Your Shorts. And I hopefully you guys will come out and see it do a drive-in theater. That's something I'm really looking forward to. So thank you guys, and thank you, Andrew, for doing this Q&A, man. You were amazing. Probably one of the best Q&As that I've had this year. So thank you.
Thank you. It was really my pleasure.